Welcome back, it's Zion from Uke On Demand, and this week we are going over Love Me Tender, and we're going to teach the entire tutorial for the easy version in this video. The intermediate version and all the tabs are available at ukeondemand.com, but for now let's get started right away into bar 1. And to play that bar, we're going to start out in a C5, which is just the ring finger on the 3rd fret of the E. We're not going to pick the A string at all. So we'll stop there before picking the A. From here, we're just going to lean the finger back into, so it's covering the 3rd fret of the A. And we're going to drop down into a C major 7, which is just the 2nd fret of the A, strum the entire chord. Back to 3rd fret of A. So that's a very easy measure right there. And now we're going to go into a D7. Now you might be more used to D7 looking like that, or like this, but this D7 is going to start all the way up here at the 5th fret. We'll be barring the 5th fret, and the middle finger will be on the 6th fret of the C. And we're just going to strum that once. Leaving the chord there, we're going to pick the E string. And then strum one more time. Dropping back down to the lower frets, we are going to play a G7 sus4. And that is just going to be almost like a regular G7, which you probably already know, but we're going to have our ring finger on the 3rd fret of the A instead. So 3rd fret of the A, index on the 1st fret of the E, and middle finger on the 2nd fret of the C. I'm just going to strum that once. Pivot your ring finger, or your hand, so your ring finger slides to the 2nd fret of the A, and pick that once. And then leave the index and middle finger where they are, but remove the ring finger. And strum once. This is a G7 sus2. After that, just put the ring finger back. And then for this last part, we're just going to strum a normal C chord, which you probably already know. Just ring finger on the 3rd fret of the A. So let's put this entire bar together very slowly. So starting with C5. Now the good news is that going into bar 2, it's exactly the same as bar 1. So you've already learned 2 bars just by going over that first one. So since you've already learned that, we're just going to we're going to skip it and head into bar 3 now. So that first bar you essentially just repeat twice, and then going into bar 3 is going to sound quite different. We're actually going to come up to the 7th fret now, and I'll play it first so you can hear it in context. And to play that part, we are going to start out again in a C chord, but this is not going to look like the C chord we did just a minute ago. Instead, we will have our ring finger on the 7th fret of the A. And we'll just strum that one, so open, 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 and 7th. After that, just going to pick the 7th fret of A by itself. And now we're going to move into an E7. Now, like the D7s, you might be used to E7 being down up here on the fretboard, which is correct, but we'll be playing it up here, which is also an E7. It'll just be barring that 7th fret and having the middle finger on the 8th fret of the C. I'll strum that once. And then leaving the chord there, we're just going to come back up, but just pick the A string. From here, we're going to go into an A minor, and it'll look much what you're probably more used to as an E minor, but it'll be starting up here at the 7th fret, and we will not be playing the G string. So that'll be 9th fret with the ring finger, 8th fret with the middle finger, and 7th fret with the index finger. Starting from the C string, just strum down. Leaving the chord there. Pick the 7th fret of A. And now we're going to play a C7. And again, you might be used to C7 down here, but for this song, we're going to play all of our usual chords up high, it seems like. So C7, we're going to have our middle finger on the 7th fret of the A, index on the 6th fret of the E, and we're going to strum that chord and just let it linger. Now we're going to go into an F major 7. So we'll be barring the 5th fret and whichever you like, the ring finger or the pinky on the 7th fret of the A. We're going to strum that just once. Leave the bar chord where it is, but remove the ring finger and pick the 5th fret of A. And now we're going to drop down into an F minor. So 1st fret of G, 1st fret of E, and 3rd fret of A. The C string will just be open. I'm going to strum that once as well. Slide that pinky up to the 5th fret. And then ending this measure, we're just going to slide it up 2 more frets to the 7th fret and strum once. So now that we've learned this entire bar, let's put it together very slowly. And moving into the second to last bar, it's going to start out the same. We're still strumming a C chord up here at the 7th fret, and we're going to strum that once. And before we go on, I'll play it so you can hear it in context. Now, to begin, we're going to start where we had the pinky on the 7th fret of the A. We're just going to strum that once, and then pick the 7th fret of the A. We'll slide the pinky to the 8th fret and add the index to the 5th fret of the E. And we're going to just pick the G string, the E string, and the A string. We're not going to pick the C. So it'll be open, 5th, and 8th. After that, just pick the 7th fret of the A by itself. And then going to go back into the D7s that we learned earlier in the song. So just barring the 5th fret, middle finger on the 6th fret of the C, and then strum once. Leaving chord there, pick the 5th fret of the E, and strum one more time. And coming back down here, you're going to again 3rd fret A, 1st fret E, 2nd fret C, This is the same as what we learned in measure 1, so just strum, 2nd fret A, strum again but remove the ring finger, 2nd fret, and C. And that would bring us to our first ending. So here we've got those repeat signs, and we would just go all the way back to the beginning of the song, play all the way up until measure through measure 14, and then we would jump into the second ending, which it should show up on the screen right now. And so instead of playing this, instead the second ending will sound like this. And to play that part, we will again start out the same in the G7 sus4, slide to the 2nd fret. We're going to come up here, so it'll be open G, 5th fret, and you'll be doing 2 little mini bars. You'll be barring the 5th fret of the C, E, and A string, and then the ring finger will just be barring the 7th fret of the E and A string. So strum that once, then arc the, or you can just remove the ring finger, so you reveal the 5th fret of the A, and then playing the C chord by itself. So now let's put this second ending together very slowly. So starting down here. And that's how to play the easy version of Love Me Tender. To get the tabs and the intermediate tutorial, head over to ukeondemand.com and subscribe below so you don't miss our upcoming fingerstyle tutorials. We'll see you next time.